Hey everyone, welcome to our wonderful webinar coming up on 3 secrets to effortless storytelling. As you're joining us, tell us a little bit about where you're coming from, what the weather's like, and give us a bit of a sense of where in Australia or overseas you're joining us from. So welcome everyone. It's been a crazy day today. Gosh, it started off at 2 degrees this morning. Can you believe it? And it's going to be 27. You know, Luke luckily is joining us from the wonderful Brisbane, and so it's nice and warm there, isn't it, Luke?
Yep, shorts and t-shirts.
Whereas I'm wearing a coat, and I was wearing like a really big coat this morning. So yeah, it's a bit crazy. So welcome everyone who's joining us. We're here today for a wonderful lunch and learn. And Fiona's come in from Brisbane. Hey Fiona, how you going? Sharon Kafoa from Melbourne. Yes, well, it's a lovely sunshiny day, but it didn't start off that way, is all I can say. And we've got a wonderful webinar coming up. So what I might do is just kick off and give everyone a bit of an idea of who Luke is and what he does. And I have to just mention, as you know, we're running the Gender Equity Awards for Australia, and Luke is one of the finalists. So that's pretty exciting. Anyway, just to put it in a bit of context. So Luke Faccini is the founder and chief brand storyteller of a brand agency called Sponge that specializes in helping the next generation of business owners rebrand with purpose. He was born and raised in Sydney and now lives in Brisbane, clearly in t-shirts and shorts. Since starting his professional brand design journey in 1999, he's helped thousands of people put their brands on the map. He full-heartedly started Sponge right out of college and has learned what it takes to grow a business. While beginning as a trained graphic designer, the entrepreneurial leap took him on a path of transformation. He's experienced firsthand the impact and purpose and values can have into a business and the connection to brand story. Having had a purpose moment that transformed his outlook on business, Luke evolved Sponge massively. This led Sponge to become a B Corp certified in January 2017, and I can tell you that B Corp certification is not to be taken lightly. It's a big step, and you know we're working on it, but it takes a lot of effort. So Luke's a firm believer that businesses can and should be a force for good. His purpose is to help all brands become good for the world, by all means necessary, including with the book, online programs, and by helping to grow the Good North Good Business community. Sponge is a full-service branding agency with a digital tilt, founded in 2001, headquartered in Brisbane, with a small but mighty remote team of 9, serving clients across the globe, from Tassie to Estonia. That's pretty cool. So Luke and his team specialise in helping next generation business owners rebrand with purpose, focusing on positive social environmental impact as well as a healthy profit. All good. So with all that being said, I'm going to hand over to Luke. It's going to be an awesome lunch and learn, and I'm so looking forward to hearing it myself. So I'll leave it to you. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. So welcome to the 3 secrets to effortless storytelling. One of the biggest problems we see, not just for marketers, but for business owners in general, is meaningfully connecting with their audiences. And with the competition that there is for attention, we only have milliseconds to capture attention and resonate, or our message can miss the mark. The marketing is storytelling. There are 3 secrets which we're going to cover today, and that's what we're here for. But as you'll soon see, there is much more to what we're going to cover, which can be transformative for business. So this web class is designed for marketers, for entrepreneurs, for business owners with a growth mindset that are looking for an edge. So if that's you, awesome, you're in the right place. Now, there's a lot to go through, so we'll be moving fast, and I intend to tell it like it is in my casual style. I promise to give you everything that I can in the time that we have. Then at the end, I'll show you where you can go to get more help if you want it for free. Nothing to buy here. So do I have permission for that? Are you okay with that? Make sure you have a notepad and a pen and take notes. Awesome. Thank you for those that are using the chat. I'm going to come to that in a second. So make sure you have a notepad and pen and take notes. You're going to get the recording, of course, but make the most of this time we have together. You may also want to grab some tissues. I'm going to tell a story that is a bit of a tearjerker. It's the first time I've told it, so you might cry. So be prepared for that in a good way. And then make sure you close anything that's going to distract you. Close the door, close your browsers, you put your phone on airplane mode so that you can focus on this time together. If you treat this as it's $1,000 consultation with me, you can get maximum value out of it. Now, I love answering questions and I will respond to all of them. So use the chat to type it in as you go. Let's flex this chat thing a little bit, right? Let's flex it lit. So I want to understand who I'm talking to. So if you're a team owner with a team, tell me where you are in the world and what size your team have, and put owner, right? I want to understand if that's you. If you're a part of a team, how big is your team? Where are you in the world? And how big is your team as an employee? And if you're a soloist, cool. Where are you? And put S for soloist. Now type it in. Like as you do that, I kind of understand that. So I can, awesome, new business owner, beautiful. Soloist, cool. All right, good. Keep that coming. That's going to help me. Keep putting them in. That's going to help me shape the messaging here because this has got lots of depth. We can go lots of ways with this. Cool, great. Yep, keep that going. Beautiful. All right. So what I want for you as a result for today is a few things. The first is validation of your prowess. You're doing things right, but it's not often as leaders, as team members, we get the pat on the back for what we're doing right. So treat this as an opportunity to go, yep, nailing that, right? The second part is I want you to have more of the right kind of people. That means more customers, the right kind of customers, and more of the team. The right kind of customers, the right kind of team. Forever, nothing but exclusively is best. And then third, the freedom to do more of whatever you want, right? Because once you've nailed your marketing, once you've nailed this storytelling, you've crushed your ROI, you can focus on what matters most for you. That's freedom. And of course, I'd love to ignite fresh possibilities for you. So I'm a big fan of learning from others and the different perspectives. So if you can find perspective in what I'm doing that adds to you, awesome. That's what we're here for. Now, who am I? I did get a bit of an intro. So firstly, this is my team. It is my team, it's my family. I love spending time with these people. And I used to say that I came from a broken home. I was out of home at 16 on my own. And because of the people I ran with, I very quickly got very good at being bad. That's where my entrepreneurial spirit was born. And I'm grateful for that. Now, I want to add to this. I don't usually tell this one. So this is where this new story is coming in. I was the second eldest of 4 kids. So I had an older brother, 2 young sisters. And we were born an average of 18 months apart to a saint of a woman. And when I say saint, she was actually a nun for 11 years before she left the convent and met my dad. So really a saint. Now, after almost 3 years courageously battling cancer, we lost her when I was 11. With 4 kids, under the age of 13, my father, who was not a very good father in the first place, well, he couldn't handle us, and that's where things started spiraling. Now, I heard a story a few days ago that landed for me really hard, and I've asked permission to retell it. And it came from a dream. Thank you, Sally, for sharing this with me. I opened the door and peeked into the hospital room, and I saw a mother laying on her bed. She was nursing her newborn, and this woman knew she was dying. She was holding the child to her chest, and they, which we're going to assume is angelic realm, said, "You have to leave. You have to come with us now." And the mother was there saying, I know, I know I have to go, but I love this. Please, just a little longer. And they said, "You have to leave now so this child can experience their journey." So with the trust that her child would be looked after, she died. Now, I had resolved a long time ago the loss of my mother. I knew that she had to leave, but I'd never seen this side before. And it certainly gave me a new sense of grace for her and why she fought. Maybe it will do the same for you. So I tell you this because I honor my journey, even though it was started dark, but I've seen the full spectrum of business. And maybe as a result, I'm here to inspire you and show you what you don't need to see. So my daughter in this photo here, she's 21 next month. And it was when I was dancing around the birthing ward with her on my arm, staring up at me with her "I've been here before" eyes, that I realized that I had to become somebody she could be proud of. So it was a turning point for me. So now I'm passionate about helping all brands be good for the world. But of course, based on my upbringing, it wasn't always that way for me, which we'll get into in a moment. But a bit more about me. I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Playtime for me is on two wheels, these two wheels, and I'm very protective of playtime. It's so important for mental well-being. Who feels that? Does anyone protect playtime? For me, this is the perfect balance of flow, of presence. It's meditative, and it makes me a better person. I'm seeing the reactions there. Awesome. Keep those coming. Type it in if you have something. Like, I love learning what people use as their escape or their reset. Right? For me, it's this. And also on two wheels is my daily sweat session in Study Lab. I've got a different outlook right now, but that's the photo that I've been using. What I mean by that is I am a book junkie, specifically an audiobook junkie, but a photo of my phone just doesn't do it justice. This is much more impactful. I'm on a constant quest to learn and grow and improve. Right? And to thank you for sharing that. And of course, share what I've implemented that works. So who else here has an unquenchable appetite to learn the better way? Let me know. Type in yes if that's you. Yep, cool. I'm seeing that. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Brilliant. Yes. Awesome. So that's you're my kind of people. I hope you get value out of this. So my entrepreneurial spirit, as was shared, meant starting Sponge straight out of college in our cabana. That's 22 years ago in November. I don't have photos of the actual cabana. We were all about image back then, and it didn't quite look cool enough. So I have learned what it takes to build a business the hard way. A few businesses, actually. Now, Sponge is a branding agency. We're certified B Corp. Highly recommend everyone look into that if you haven't. And we're very active in the good business community up here. So we specialize in rebranding, which means we take brands from these on the left to these on the right, refreshing from these, again, these on the left to these on the right. And we also do renaming. And again, you get the drift here, right? Once we've helped create the brands, we then help deliver all the execution that's required, whether it's web, print, packaging, you name it. I have an awesome team. Better designers than I am. So back in 1999, I was a brand cowboy, hired gun. Sponge helped any business that would pay us the money to sell more of their stuff, regardless of the damage or the they were responsible for, the destruction or whatever it was they were responsible for. And we're good at what we do. I'll speak about destruction, we'll get that in a minute. That's how it was for me until one morning in the summer of 2015. I was feeling like this guy, going nowhere fast, slowly burning out. It had been a huge year. I'd had a nasty exit from one of my companies, then lost a multi-million-dollar client for Sponge. And it was mid-December, and I was really feeling overdue for a break. I'm kind of feeling that way already, and it's October, but November, hard year. So sitting on my couch in my villa by the bay in Sydney, I hit play on a Netflix documentary that looked watchable for the purpose of decompressing. Now, to this point in my life, I'd never actually stopped to consider the true cost of things. And this documentary was called The True Cost. And it revealed all the fast fashion damage and destruction that they cause. Right? Like this, the Dakar building collapse, Rana Plaza, 10 years ago this year, over 1,130 people died there and 2,500 people were injured. Why? When the bottom floor of that building was told not to come back because it was unsafe. Of course, that was banks and that kind of thing. Upstairs, the sweatshops, well, they were threatened with their livelihood if they didn't show up. And of course, they lost their livelihood, they lost their lives. And not to mention the devastation to natural ecosystems caused by corporate ignorance and greed. All of this short-term profits at all costs. So this was honestly the first time I'd seen supply chain for what it is, and it isn't just fashion. Before that film was done, I had tears streaming down my cheeks. It was then that I decided that I could no longer work for businesses or about profit at all costs. This is what I call my purpose moment, and it led to me firing most of our clients and imploding the business and starting again with purpose. So since then, I've been on a quest, and that quest is to find authenticity in branding and marketing because I was feeling disillusioned about my industry. So this has been an epic 7-year journey so far, and there is still so much to do. My team and I have learned so much, starting with a deep dive into culture. It led to years of study and thousands of dollars in training to master purpose, values, and all that it takes that's inspired our culture framework. That is to help businesses get crystal clear on who you are as a brand. Because if you're even a little bit fuzzy, no one can be clear. That was followed by hundreds of hours of research and interviews with impact-driven business leaders from around the world to shape our impact framework. It's designed to help businesses identify and communicate their noble reasons to be loved. And finally, going deep to harness the power of great storytelling, because story is the connective tissue between you and all of your audiences. This storytelling framework we developed is what we use to breathe life into the culture and the impact work that we help create. Without story, we see this work die in the binder, in the filing cabinet, or worse, on the wall. So over the 7 years of learning, trialing, and developing these frameworks, all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it, for us and our clients, we evolved our whole model. And it all comes down to one big central idea. Now, remember, I'm a graphic designer by trade. Again, I don't do that anymore. I'm off the tools. I have great designers with me, but we are a branding agency. So I don't say this next part lightly. Good design is table stakes. It is the price you pay to play today, both in your brand design and how you design, make, and deliver your offering. It is the price you pay today. Of course, you have to look the part to charge the part. That's the first obstacle. It helps you get attention, but it is meaningless magnetic. People don't buy what you do unless you're a monopoly. Who here is a monopoly? Anyone a monopoly? No reactions there. All right. Then people buy your how and why, right? Yeah, I wish, right? So with good design as the benchmark, your differentiator is your how and your why. It is this that you create the meaning that people crave, right? This is why people stay. And all of this is driven by awesome storytelling. Speaking of stories, I've got one for you now. Do you want to share? This isn't a tearjerker, by the way, so no need for the tissues for this one. So Anita has just sat down at her home office desk. She's about to hit her inbox, or check her inbox. Now, as a businesswoman who strives to do good in the world, she's been struggling to get her marketing to perform consistently. And that's been the way it is for far longer than she cares to admit. And with her marketing not working like it ought to, the pressure she feels is real. And it's keeping her from what matters most to her. She spent way too many nights scrolling through marketing advice from so-called gurus, right? There always seems to be a strategy that she needs to be doing, but they all end the same way, with inconsistent and uninspiring results. So Anita has started to resent marketing, which is bad because it's her responsibility. So she does hit send and receive, and a notification comes in, and finally some good news. There's an opportunity she's been working on that's been greenlit to actually partner with an organization and send a campaign through them. It's an aligned partner. So she's excited. That's good news for her. Now, she has got an awesome offer to share. She knows people need it. Her customers love it. And she wants to help more people. And of course, the cash flow boost would be awesome. This feels like a massive opportunity. And she's starting to stress out a little bit because her previous campaigns haven't worked effectively. So she doesn't have something to just drop in. So she doesn't know what she's going to do with this. And as fate may have it, she meets a storytelling guide. Go serendipity. Love serendipity. Her guide helps her see why what she's been doing so far up to now hasn't worked, and introduces her to a new framework. and shows her how to connect the dots. This framework feels right for her. So she leans in. So the big day arrives. Anita's sitting at her desk again. It's not hot, but she's sweating. Good thing she's alone right now. Now, the campaign has been live for a few hours and she finally works up the nerve to hit send and receive. She does. The notifications start flowing in, confirmations. It's all been working and it's good news and they continue to flow in. She exhales. She feels lighter now. This audience have responded beautifully. Her messaging has cut through for this audience like a hot knife through butter. It resonates and she feels it. In this moment, her confidence in her marketing has been renewed because this doesn't feel like marketing. This is storytelling. So like Anita, the prize that we want for you is what I want for every good business. And that's to become an electromagnetic brand. That means you effortlessly attract all the awesome people to you that you want and they stick for good, right? That means a team of nothing but superstars who make your life easy and an ever increasing customer base of raving fans who bring more people just like them to you. What we're going to be exploring today will show you that through the lens of these secrets. So what it takes, this is our new model for brands today. Remember, good design is the benchmark. It's the meaning that's magnetic. This is how you create that meaning with culture and impact, your how and your why, fused as the nucleus of your brand, with the storytelling rippling all that goodness in all directions through all of your brand touch points and collateral. Now, this looks simple and intentionally so with good design, but don't be fooled by its simplicity. This model contains the secrets to effortless storytelling, and we're going to explode it now, okay? So let's look, time to dive in. The 3 secrets. Because when we get all 3 of these right, we effortlessly attract all the awesome people that we want so that we are free to focus on what we really want, what matters to us. Now, I'm curious, what matters to you? Type it in, share it. For us, it is creating massive positive impact. Deep down, that's my driver. If I can help you do that, together we're going to accelerate the changes we need to make in the world. Does that make sense? My intention is to go through these secrets with you. And then if you want to go deeper, share an awesome way that we can explore them deeper together for free. Remember, nothing to buy, all sharing. So let's look at them. Secret number 1 is to know your effortless audience. There's some good feedback there. Keep it coming. There is a simple framework that we're going to go into now to explore your effortless audience. And we're going to look at it through the lens of this electromagnetic brand framework. So there are 9 components. We're going to use them to explore the secrets. The first secret focuses on your effortless audience, which resides in our storytelling framework. And the first is audience. And this is so you know what really moves them to action. Now, just to be clear, we can actually, do I do it there? No. Just wanted to make sure I'm not missing anything for you. So getting clear on your audiences is knowing what moves into action. The next part is strategy. That's where you can be, so you can be in the right place at the right time with the right message. And then the third is rituals, so your team and your business can hum without you. So all 3 of these components contribute to how well you resonate with the awesome people you want to attract and have stick for good. So we're going to focus on audiences with the lens of effortless audience. So this is where you develop the deep knowledge of each of your different groups of people that you communicate with, including your team and the different markets you have, because each has a different lens for how they see your brand. So your effortless audience is special. They pay what you want happily when you build them. They're an absolute pleasure to do business with for you and your whole team. And because they love your brand and they're aligned with you, they tell everybody about you. Now, what would life be like if you just had that? Only your effortless audience. So what audiences is not? It is definitely not assumptions about who these people are or wishes, a wish list of these characteristics of these people. And it is definitely not generalizations about how people will respond to your brand or archetypes. The danger there is that these are easy to do, right? Assuming wish lists and pre-existing archetypes. Now, I know firsthand, because we were guilty of this before the long and arduous and costly development of this framework. And it's what we see with so many clients, in that they create Frankenstein personas, which are use the label you want, avatars, archetypes, personas, characters, and they aim their marketing messaging at it, or they're just messaging in general. Now, these are fictional mashups of assumptions and wishes, and they cause lots more damage than just failing marketing or low marketing ROI. One of our clients even had life-size cardboard cutouts in their boardroom of their fictional characters. And good people at that company had lost their jobs and continue to, because they are told to market to these fictional characters. Now, of course, they can't achieve their KPIs. I mean, how could they? These people don't exist. So when we ran our effortless audience model for them, our framework, we found two true personas, almost opposite what they'd dreamt up. And these real people were consuming 6 and 7 servings of their product every day, daily, versus these fictional that wouldn't even buy it. So isn't targeting more of the right kind of customer worth the work? Well, it was a game changer for this company, but they were doing it the wrong way. And that's the problem. People are shown the wrong way. Thank you for the feedback. Love seeing that. So another one of our clients, Prudence Rehab, a professional service company in Sydney, they were struggling to stand out in a sea of grey. They'd come to us for a rebrand and committed to the foundation work that we're going through. We help them get very clear on their audiences. Now, stop there for a second. The reason why we start with audience is always the first thing, especially if we're building a campaign, is that if you pay us, it has to work. And this is the way marketing works. Understand who you're speaking to. And I don't gamble. So we started there, showed them how to do this. And the work that we did very quickly turned into a multi-million dollar tender win for them. So it's not $1 million tender win for them, with the client telling us that they were selected because they led with their culture and impact in a way that resonated with this client. The alignment, understanding their audience. So the audience work that they learn also worked like a charm with their recruitment. So getting clear on what that audience was about enabled them to finally resonate with the superstars they'd previously struggled to attract. So audience is key, both for clients and team. But why is it vital? Why is it vital? You can be where your audience are, so they find you when they need you. And there's way more to that. There's way more to the framework than that. You can give them the right message at the right time, one that resonates for them and compels them to buy or join or whatever the action is that you want to do. And then they stick for good because they feel understood. So by giving them what they want, you get more of what you want, right? And the stats prove that. 7 out of 10 adults expect companies to understand their unique needs and expectations, including your people. So if you take one thing away here, only once you have a clear audience can you tell a story that resonates for them. Or the inverse, without an audience for your story, you're a crazy person talking to the wind. I've been guilty of that. So for the first secret done, you know now what it means to know your effortless audience and how transformative it can be for your business. Can you envision what your business would be like with nothing but effortless audience and this mastered? Check-in time. All right, I'm going to take a sip. But I want you in that process to, out of 10, how well have you nailed this part? You don't have to share it with me. If you feel brave, share it. If not, just write it down on the paper in front of you, out of 10. Ooh, big score. Good stuff. Room for improvement. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's move to the next secret, which is be an authentic storyteller. There's a bit to this, and there's a simple framework that we're going to go into now. Again, using our model. The first is define. That's where you get crystal clear on your culture code, purpose, values, brand personality, all that other stuff that relates to your culture code. Then unite, where you bring your whole team together. It's about the journey, not the destination. And finally, defend, where you protect what you've created. So getting this culture piece right is how you turn your brand into an electromagnet for awesome talent. And sure, that's what you have for good. Big part of this. And we're going to look at defend as the focus for this today, because the lowest standard that you're willing to tolerate becomes your standard. So we want to focus here on what you need to ensure that only aligned people are allowed into your sphere, whether as a team member or a partner, and that misaligned people are not allowed to stay. Because when any part of your brand or the representation of it is misaligned, people can see it. That thing on your face, right? That, yeah. I hazard a guess that you're pretty good at sniffing out bullshit. Fair to say? Yes? Who can sniff out bullshit? No one. All right, there's a reaction. All right, cool. So the reality is that your team and your market have that same tool. So none of this methodology, none of this framework that I'm sharing with you means anything unless you are authentic. So the thing about a magnet, using that reference, it attracts the right pole. Remember playing with? I don't know if you play with your kids. I haven't done it recently, but you can push a magnet away, or you can turn it around and attract it, right? So you have to become polarizing for the right people, which means you have to be unapologetically repulsive to people too. Yeah. So what getting clear on defending your culture is not, it is not solely a management function or left to HR or something you outsource. It is definitely not an inauthentic EVP, employment value proposition, that vanishes only once somebody joins. And it is definitely not tolerating misaligned behavior or communication or whatever. No misalignment. Do not tolerate it, even for superstars. So I had a meeting with a new client last week, and as I usually do, we said, we're going to schedule a session to review your purpose and values. And the response was a common one. We don't need to do that. We did that years ago. My question, awesome. So tell me, what is your purpose? And what are your company values? What do you think happened? Well, if you're guessing that they scrambled for a filing cabinet and were mumbling some lame excuse, then that's what happened. And this is all too common. Here's the thing. If you don't know your purpose and values by heart, then that's cool. Yes, that's good feedback there. If you don't know it, then your team don't know it. Right? And if they don't know it, what chance are they going to show up as an awesome team and deliver an awesome united front and message for your customers? Now, I'm guilty of this. So speaking not as an angel here, ours was the worst kind. When we had our studio in our waterfront studio in Sydney, we had a design agency. We had our gratuitous purpose and values. Our purpose was fairly obnoxious back then, like many are, and a generic culture code that nobody knew because, like Chiati has said there, buzzwords, cliche, culture by default. No one learns by osmosis either, right? So moving forward on this, here's a client of ours, Harrison Agents. They weren't the team that you see before you right now. And that wasn't so long ago. They're a multi-generation real estate agency. At the time we met them, they had 27 staff. They had culture by default, yes, the buzzwords, generic language, and 5 people in their team that shouldn't have been there. These people were sabotaging unknowingly. They were causing morale drops and making the owner's life difficult. And I'm sure we've all experienced this in businesses. I have. Now, even with superstars in their team, which they did have, there was a definite funk in the office. And I'm not talking about the good funk, and their business was suffering. So they did the work. They defined their culture code. They united the team around it, and they developed their way to defend it. And very soon, those 5 people self-selected out without any awkward conversation, including one of the business owners. They've doubled, more than doubled in size, and they've rocketed from number 9 to number 1 in their city. They're killing it. The energy in there is ridiculous, and they have nothing but superstars. And the key here is they are aligned and united in their voice, and it is clear in their market. So it's impacted the business and the marketing. Same thing. There's no separation between employee value proposition and your brand. Your brand is your employee value proposition. Your culture is your brand. So why this is vital. Getting this stuff right, defending it, builds trust with your team and with the market. And that unleashes potential in your team. It creates bonds, which keeps your superstars there because they're happy. They know that the other superstars are going to match their level. And it eliminates bad hires. Did this last one prick your ears up a little? It ought to. I don't know about you, but I've made plenty of bad hires. And I've never really stopped to calculate how much they actually cost. I know if you Google it, a typical response that you get is 30% of first year salary. But is it? We ran the numbers for one of ours. Who wants to see what that actually calculates to? I can skip this one if no one's interested, but if you're interested, give me a, please share. Okay, there's some. All right, we'll go through it quickly. Now, this was a 120K developer role in Sydney. And I had a lot of hope and in this woman. Hope's not a plan. We break down the costs the following way. First up, recruitment. So external agency, this is low end for 120K salary, and it included our team time in interviewing this person. Then there was the 3-month trial wages. So 30K, we really wanted this person to work in the probationary period. Next was the 3 months intensive management costs. So this is our supervisor, management team supervising this poorly performing individual. So that's calculated at 15% of the management salary for that 3-month period. And then productivity drop. This is again, the direct team picking up the slack, right? 15% of that direct team salary. So $73,000. And that doesn't even cost, yes, like Sharon has mentioned there, team-wide morale decrease, lost opportunity costs, and client relationship impact through poor service, right? I don't even want to think about that part. Now, over the 22 years of Sponge, I've made so many bad hires. I don't even want to think about the millions of dollars wasted in this. So, who's thought this before? More people equals more headaches. Yeah? What about this? Bad hires are just the cost of doing business. What if, instead of thinking this way, you could be thinking this way? More aligned people equals more freedom. Yeah? Okay, some good reaction. And bad hires be a thing of the past. And of course, an aligned team telling a united story, right? Yes. So your culture is your brand. This is one of our mantras. Your culture is your brand because it's how you show up in the world. So if you want a brand worth raving about, you need a culture worth raving about, because it takes raving fans inside the business to deliver raving fan experiences for your customers. Or what's more passionate than, what's a better storyteller than a passionate person connected to that story? So this is why it is so important to define, unite, and defend your culture code, not only for the bottom line, but because you create clarity and your team can defend it. And then it can be woven through all of your storytelling to attract more of those awesome people. So secret number 2, I showed you how you can be an authentic storyteller by getting clear on who you are as a brand and what you're willing to accept. Can you see what this would mean for your business? Check-in time. What about this? Out of 10, how are you going for this one? Anyone nailed it? Okay. Cool. Some good scores there. I love the honesty. There's always room for improvement. I wouldn't even say we've nailed this completely. Thank you, Sharon. Nice. Love the ahas. Keen to hear about that one. Let's jump into number 3, which is about crafting a meaningful message, which is your noble reason to be loved. And we're going to dive back into the model and look at this, and we're focusing on your brand's why, your impact. This is your noble reason to be loved. And the first component of this is your mission. This is the big problem you want to solve. It's not the typical vision, mission, value style mission. This is your noble mission, right? The change you want to see. Then we have your model. That's how you plan to and how you solve this problem. And then finally, message, which is how and when you communicate and celebrate the positive impact you're creating. It's through impact that you unlock your team's passion, energy, and commitment to rival your own, and that of your audience as well, your market. For your team, it also triples productivity at least. This is because your brand has become a crusade to join and fight for rather than another commodity. How does that happen? Well, let's look at message for that, which is the how and when you communicate. This is what fuels your storytelling. This is how your stories, your marketing becomes something anticipated, not just another offer, but actually something that lights people up. So what it's not, it is definitely not boastful or self-aggrandizing. That is repulsive. I'm sure we've seen that kind of communication of impact. It is definitely not transactional marketing tactics, especially when it is irrelevant to what the business does. And it is not annual impact reporting alone. That is an opportunity completely squandered. So most clients are doing, when we speak to them, are doing what we did when we started our impact journey. We donated. And don't get me wrong, donations are great, they're much needed, but like what we did, our clients do the same thing and spread their donations thin. So no consistent theme, just supporting everything that comes up, which is a huge problem because it makes it impossible for your team or your market to follow. And they can't get behind it because they don't know what it is. So they can't talk about it. And in fact, you've diluted it so much that they don't even recognize that it's good. Now, a client of ours was doing really well. This is Tribe in Sydney, a fitness center. They had a great team at the time, they still do. Loads of awesome clients, great revenue. The business was capped though because the owner was the glue. Who's felt like the glue of the business? What I mean by that is it could not scale because they were the key for culture and like whatever it might be for the business. So we guided, yeah, cool, thank you. We guided them, the whole team, through the culture and impact framework that we just covered, and magic happened. The team became even more engaged. And they thought that was going to be impossible. And not only how they show up for each other as the team, but also for the community. They too had been giving generously in the past without a clear theme. So we helped them get very clear on the best way to handle a very sensitive issue that they were all passionate about solving in the community and do it in a positive way. Now, while they contribute as generously as they did before, it is narrowed to one thing, and they're able to clearly communicate that with their clients, their customers, their team, and the community, and invite them and embrace them in the shared vision. And it's so exciting to see this team come together and this energy that comes from them and see the impact it's having in the community. It's incredible. So why this is vital? Because you're giving people deep meaning. For your team, it unleashes their creative and discretionary energy. It means overflowing pipeline innovation, right? You create raving fans in the business that create rave-worthy experiences outside. So you get raving fans outside the business. And your team are fully engaged. That means massive boost in productivity. Massive boost in productivity. Now, I speak from experience. I thought I had a great team pre-purpose. We're doing way more with less. The difference between a disengaged team member and an engaged team member is massive. Mid-level role here, 12 times the output, right? Same hours, same salary, 12 times the output because they're engaged. The inverse, if they're not engaged, you're going to get, I think it's 8.8% of their potential. I'll link the stats to this to you. It's from a study that I can share. Thanks for asking that. So there is the 8.8% is the inverse. And a recent Gallup poll that says that 79% of employees are disengaged. That's 8 out of 10. So what do you want from your team? I want them engaged, right? Because when they're engaged, it feels good for the rest of the team, but it also delivers an awesome experience for your clients. So leading with clear purpose and impact is good for business. It's why Patagonia outranked 99 other prominent US businesses to be the most reputable brand in the US, right? Because they lead with, they're very clear. I mean, who knows Patagonia? Who knows the story? Anyone read Let My People Go Surfing? Great book. They're like 50 years old now. They've like pioneered this way. You can see some recognition there. Now, this from the chairman of the poll. Today's consumer is more digitally connected and more purpose-driven than ever, and it dramatically affects what it takes to excel in marketing, communications, and reputation. Yes, storytelling, right? But I argue it's more than just marketing. It's good for business in general because it is good for retention of the people that you want to stick, superstars and clients. You've given them a reason to love you and stay and fight for you. Just looking down to see if I'm actually wearing Patagonia today. I usually am, not today. This is how you get there, with a clear culture code so people know how to show up united, and an inspiring impact model which unleashes their full potential. And then all that storytelling know-how to share this goodness with everyone. Do you see how powerful this framework is now? It's why we use this as the foundation for all new client work, either rebrand, refresh, website, whatever, either one-on-one for a select few or via our online mastery program. Because quite frankly, when a client pays us to help, it has to work, and I don't gamble. So that's the third secret about crafting a meaningful message, one that engages all of your audiences and give them reason to fight for your brand. That way you're free to do whatever you want, more of it. And if it means working, cool, I'll choose to do this. So check-in time, how did you go for that one? How do you score yourself on that one? Out of 10 on impact. Meaningful message. Brilliant. Some good scores there. All right. What's been the main takeaway? Well, you type that in. You're probably wondering who this works for, this framework. And the good news is it works for all kinds of businesses. Right? We work with professional services, manufacturing, FMCG, health and fitness, food service, retail. We also work with construction, e-commerce, fully remote businesses, charities, not-for-profits with this, all kinds of businesses. We've helped solopreneurs get this stuff right and magnify the impact that they want to create in the world. We've helped small team owners with only single digits of team to get super clear on who they are and what they're about and attract more superstars to them, and also larger teams. Wherever there are real people involved, this framework works. Now, our purpose is to help all brands be good for the world. But prior to this, our purpose was to help good businesses become better brands. It wasn't that long ago, which I liked, although I found myself saying all good businesses on occasion. And I floated the idea of adding all permanently, and I got a bit of a slap from one of my team members who suggested I run the process that we do with clients on our team. And that was magical. Funny, the baker doesn't bake his own bread, right? Or, heard those phrases. So the new purpose that we shaped together was awesome for us. It was a game changer. It expanded the scope of the work that we do to become global. It has made us think in terms of a movement, right? So it's no longer about or limited to just working one-on-one with clients. And it forces us to think bigger, to partner with others who share our purpose and our values. That's why I'm here with you today, to inspire you to think bigger, to unleash that best version of you and every member of your team. Because our vision is this: we want to see 1 million lives lived to the fullest within the next 10 years. And that's only a million, it's small, right? But for us, it's big, because that means you and your team, by creating an authentic culture code, an impact model that inspires you to be fully engaged at work and show up at your fullest natural potential, unleashing your genius, your zone of genius. It also means the beneficiary of your business's impact model, whose lives are changed for the better because you're in business. Together we can hit this. And that's by inspiring 10,000 brands to become electromagnetic, right? With each of them having an average of 100 people that they're impacting to live their lives to the fullest. Yes, global impact. Like this purpose work, this impact work, we do it regularly because we're evolving, right? So can you imagine what 1 million people living their lives to the fullest would be like? So where to now? I told you in the beginning that at the end, I'd show you where to go to get more help if you need it, and for free. Well, we're here now. So you've seen those 3 secrets, and you've also seen how they are underpinned by the framework of electromagnetic branding, right? So shortly, we'll be running a free 3-day challenge. What that means is a live Zoom session with me, 1 hour each day for 3 days, where I'll take you through a deeper training on what we've covered today. We'll get clearer on these things so you can effortlessly attract all the awesome people you want, whether it's a team or customers, and they'll stick for good. Of course, there'll be a workbook, private group, Q&A sessions, all of that good stuff, right? And it's my gift to you. And the only way you get in is to join the waiting list. The dates are locked on our side. We just haven't got the registration page. So we'll join this list and we'll give you the information straight away. Now, yes, this is free. Now, my goal is to show you how awesome it is to work with me and my team. And in that process, you learn a lot. And at the end of the challenge, I'll show you how to apply for more if you want, right? So I'm just being clear. There is a commercial opportunity at the end of it, but that's not what it's about. I'm about helping you create the most impact you can have in the world. We will be going deeper on this framework together. You'll be able to ask all the questions you want on each of these. Each of these has a deeper framework within them, right? So you'll learn what it takes to become an electromagnetic brand. These are not my legs. Mine are less hairy. But this is how I feel when my marketing and my team is humming without me. And this is the result of them being fully engaged and empowered through this framework. How awesome is this? You want this? Well, actually, I want this. More freedom for me means I get to spend more time with my family. And also means more of this, more time for play. What does freedom mean for you? So there is a bonus for joining the waiting list. We'll send you a 1-page checklist designed to do 3 things: validate your awesomeness, right? Confirm your marketing efforts, right? Unearth hidden opportunities, identify unseen pathways, and catapult your marketing to awe-inspiring heights, right? That is there for you when you sign up. Now, I'm going to answer some questions now. So would this work if you don't have a team? When it's just me? Yes, we've been working recently with a woman who has built a business, and she came to us without clarity on who she is as a brand, as the culture code. It's just her and her assistant now, but we've helped her get very clear on her culture and her impact, and it has enabled her to it's unleashed this spirit in her because she has clarity. So yes, it works for solopreneurs. It also works for teams of small size. Average size in our cohorts at the moment is 7 people. So 5, 7, sometimes there's 15, 25. It just depends. I think it is reflective of what we see in the Australian market at the moment. SMEs, I think there's something like 350,000 businesses with between 5 and 50 staff. Could be wrong, could be 11 to 50, but something about that. So it is think 80% of the business in Australia. So yes, definitely would work for you if you don't have a team, especially if your goal is to build a team. I'm going to scroll back through. I will share where the stats are from. It is from one of my favorite books, which is usually on my desk. They reference the study. I'll find the source of it for you. Was it a skills issue or cultural behavioral one? For this woman, it didn't work out. It was cultural misalignment, actually. We needed to, if we were clearer on who we were and what we were willing to accept in people, we would have avoided that. That's why I'm so passionate about this, is that if you're not clear, no one can be clear. If you do not give your team the framework in order to bring issues to the surface immediately that are misaligned, they can't. So culture, the culture code was the key to solving that. That's why we don't make bad hires anymore, because we so put culture first. If you jump on our website and look at the roles that we have there, you can see how we lead with culture. What is a success story you are most proud of? Which one? Oh, they're all proud. They're all exciting. Look, this is the scope. Like electromagnetic branding, this platform is everything that we do. So every client we've been able to impact differently. I love what Harrison have done as Harrison agents. They are now expanding across Tasmania, opening offices everywhere with the purpose of shaping that community. And it's a really heart-centered approach. And I haven't seen it in real estate before, because real estate is, for me, it's notoriously salesy and sleazy. So they want to actually transform the whole industry. So for me, that's a really proud thing, is to help them expand beyond the known within their community, within their industry. They're all awesome. I love the aha moments for small teams and individuals in our group, where it's like, oh, I get it. That's how I'm meant to communicate it, especially empowered to, like, if you don't have a team to flesh out what your impact is, or that third person, that external perspective to help you see what you're not seeing. I think there's Fiona, who's here today, the clarity she's gotten by running this framework for her business that's inspiring, because I see that the riffing and that the clarity that comes from actually almost permission to be the better version of who you are in your business, and how to communicate that in a clear way. Yeah, I don't know. There's too many. Paradox of choice. Who do I talk about? Fiona's question. Will this help build a strong foundation to hire people that are going to stay for a long period of time? And as I'd like to start building a team, absolutely. Absolutely. If you lead with if you get very clear on who you are as a brand, what you're willing to accept, and then recruit only to fit that, you'll have nothing but those people. And when they see that that's the standard that you hold, they're going to feel comfortable giving more of themselves. So getting clear on who needs to be in the team, and then giving them the mechanism, which is your impact, to be more of themselves as a steward of like good in the world, a good citizen, impactful, then their heart's connected. So yeah, definitely will work. Anything else? Any more questions? Awesome. Who's been in? Who's jumped on the list? I can't see any results here of that. Like, have we got any people that have like put their hand up to join the? Awesome. Good to see. Thank you for spending this time with me. Look, I love this. This is absolute pleasure for me. I hope if you found my passion in this, that you come along to the challenge and get more of that when we go in a bit more of an interactive environment where I see your face and we get to talk. Right? So if you haven't, join the challenge. It is going to be so valuable. I'm going to pack it with more than you can imagine. Thank you for your time with me today. I've really enjoyed this. And thank you for all the engagement too. I'm going to spend a bit of time reading through that. I love learning about people that find this sort of drawn to this stuff. So thank you. Oh, there's an Anita in the room. I didn't realize that. Anita, did that Anita story resonate with you? It's not you. I don't recognize your surname. Awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Luke. That was fabulous. And I think, for anybody that is joining us for the challenge, it's going to be a heap of fun. And there is going to be a recording coming out. So if you want to go back over some of the great bit of advice that Luke's given along the way, have a better look at that framework and, take some more notes. It's going to be coming out to all of you shortly. So thanks so much, Luke. That's just brilliant. Really inspiring. I love the fact that you want to touch so many businesses. It's great.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, that's a wrap, I think, everybody. So have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.
Cheers.